Hello and welcome to the Gallop Out. I'm your host, Ryan, and as usual, I get to be joined by my co-hosts, Jackson and Kaylee. We were all together last week in Lexington, Kentucky, enjoying opening weekend of Keeneland. Now we're all back at our home bases. Kaylee, we'll start with you. How are you doing? You're back in New York. You joined us from the grandstands a couple weeks ago.
Yes, doing well. Recovered from Sunday with Torpedo Anna. All in all, it was a really good weekend. I mean, beautiful weather, you guys can attest, definitely at Keeneland. Like, that was just the best for sure. But yeah, back in New York, excited weekend, and we have some pretty good stakes races at Aqueduct this weekend as well, part of the sequence. So excited about that.
Yeah, no doubt. We're covering the cross-country pick 5 for this Saturday, October 11th, with I think it's 4 stakes and 1 starter allowance race to end the day. But Jackson, how you doing? Yeah, how's it going?
Doing good. Finally had a decent day for the first time in what feels like a week and a half. So that was a good thing. I cashed a ticket at Keeneland. It was a freaking miracle. I even got Torpedo Anna beat. So that's how that first weekend went. But yeah, it was a lot of fun this weekend. It's good to finally meet Kaylee and Matthew in person. We've been talking for over a year now. We haven't met in person, so that was.
I know, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Good times in Kentucky.
Good times for sure. But now we're back. I'm in San Diego. Jackson's up in Orange County. Kaylee in New York, and we're going to cover this cross country as we are across the country for this pick 5. Great sequence, though. I know a couple of them are from Laurel, as Jackson whips on the screen. Jackson, we're going to start with you because I know you were a huge, advocate for us covering Laurel Park today. So go ahead and share your thoughts on this sequence.
I thought it was good. I thought it was definitely one worth. No, I really did. I really thought. I think we're all going to be taught to talk about post time, obviously, because that's going to be the key if you're with or against them. If you're with them, it kind of turns into a pick 4. If you're against, then this thing's going to be pretty wide open. So you got to make a decision there. And then the other race is pretty wide open at Laurel. The race at Aqueduct is wide open, and then the Keeneland race is that where possible. So you have one race where it looks somewhat straightforward, but the rest were tough. So definitely have to make some decisions in the sequence.
Yeah, this is going to be the third show in a row that we've done where we've covered a pick 5 sequence, and we all have the same single. So you hinted at post time. We are 0 for our previous 2, and prior to that, the record doesn't get much better. So hopefully we're going to reverse that trend on Saturday and get post time into the winner's circle. But we'll get into all of that. But Kaylee, we'll go to you. Belmont Stakes. We're going to be covering as well as the Grade 1 QE2 Cup from Keeneland. What were your thoughts on those races?
Oh my God, I love the QE2 at Keeneland. I thought it was a really strong field and definitely have a pretty strong opinion there. I threw out Opulent Restraint at the last minute, literally 10 minutes before, because I thought about the sequence all day and I was thinking, the first leg is probably, I thought, the most wide open as well as the last leg. So I wanted to spread a little there, and then post-time singling him definitely was a help. But yeah, I ended up going a little bit skinny in the Keeneland stakes, just hammering a strong opinion there, rather than throwing in a whole bunch just because I'm scared of them like Chad Brown. So, I thought it was a fun sequence. I'm pretty excited to actually play this ticket.
I'm also excited. We'll get into the sequence in just a second. The last race, I think, is going to speak for itself in terms of difficulty, and I'll leave it at that. I'll throw the picks up for leg 1 or leg A, as we call it, as we'll go to Laurel Park for race number 10, which is going to be – it's Maryland Million Day, by the way, out at Laurel Park, so they are included in this. This is the Maryland Million ladies stake, I believe. And we're going to start it off. Well, I'm going 2-9. I put the 10 in parentheses because the 10 isn't also eligible. If the 10 were to draw in, I'm likely going to single that horse. That horse looks pretty tough. Jackson's going 1-2. Kaylee's going 1-2. So we all have some respect for the 2. And you would think that would be your favorite. But no, that horse is 10-1, which makes you think we're not going to get anywhere near that price. But Kaylee, we're actually going to start with you. We'll go to the outside, and a horse that I also have a little bit of love for, and then number 9, Mappo.
Yeah, I saw a decent amount of speed in this race, and I definitely landed on the 2 and added that one in my ticket for those reasons. But the 9 would probably be my top pick in this race. I just think that, the form, this horse's form in general, she's in pretty good form as a 3-year-old filly at this point in the year. This is the form you'd hope that she's in. I know she's 2-1 on the morning line, but get a pretty good jockey aboard. She drew well to the far outside. Will definitely depend if any of the A's get in, with the type of trip that maybe she can sit if that 10 draws in. But I did like the 9. I thought that figures wise and just the trip she'll take. I thought that she was a pretty good top choice in here.
Yeah, I thought similarly. I thought this was kind of the speed of the speed angle, while I think there's plenty of other speed in here, and we'll get to that as we go down towards the inside. I thought the 9 from that outside post going to use that speed early to get that position. Jackson, we'll go to you. We're going to the rail in the rail runner Precious Avery.
Yeah, she was a speed horse I wanted. Drawn much better than the 9 is. Has numbers that are very similar. And I thought she ran well last time at Monmouth. That race was only going 5 furlongs. She came from last. That race completely held together. She's the only horse who made any kind of move. The concern with her, she hasn't exactly been a win machine as of late. And the one win she did have in the last couple of years was on the lead. I don't know if she's getting the lead in this spot. I'm hoping they just sit the pocket with her, because if they sit the pocket, I think there's a lot of other speed. Just let those horses go and save as much ground as you can, and hopefully get a trip similar to last time. I mean, where she was able to prove she can pass horses. So I'm hoping that's a trip she gets in here. 5-1 seems about right on this mare. Obviously, none of us have the 6 at 8-5. I don't know who's betting the 6 horse at 8-5 in this race. That horse is 0 prover in turf form. Yeah. So I wonder if she'll actually go off 8-5, especially if the 10 draws in. If 10 draws in, that's not going to happen. But I'd be curious if the 10 does not draw in.
No, I agree. I think taking a short price on a horse that has yet to be on the turf, or rather has not been on the turf since In the Barn of Jamie Ness, and is winless on the turf in 5 tries, I don't know that I'm jumping at that opportunity, especially if the 10 draws in as well. Well, let's talk about the 10-1 shot that we all have somewhere in the mix. This is the horse I ended up with on top, but Kaylee, we'll throw it back out to you as you pick that one as well on your ticket.
Yeah, just to go back to the 6 quickly, 8-5, I thought pretty short. And also I looked up, Jamie Ness, his stats, switching from the dirt to the turf, and any listed stakes at Laurel aren't too hot. So that was another reason I thought you could play against this one as well. But yeah, I thought that the 10 is going to have a ton of pace to close into. And I think that this horse could actually excel. Look at the way that, she closes into the pace, probably more distance, stretching back out to 1 mile and a 16th. I like that for this horse. Just one of the closers that I wanted to use, because I had 2 other speed horses. And this one I thought clearly last time out closed the most effectively there. So hopefully can sit a similar trip here.
Yeah, I completely agree. The last 3 back going the mile and a 16th. that was behind a horse named Warming, who's very talented for Eclipse Thoroughbreds and Grand Motion. There's some other really good runners like Quadra, Notable Exchange, that are much, much better horses than these. This one has run okay against Statebreds, and I'm with you. I think this one is going to have be the most advantageous if there is a pace collapse. Jackson, any thoughts on the 2 all gas, no brakes?
I'll just add that she is one of the few horses in here that is proven without Lasix. Obviously, she got it last time when she won, but we didn't see a significant jump up with the Lasix added. She was running numbers that were similar without it. So I think she does have that in her favor, because a lot of the horses in here have always run with Lasix, and they're a bit of an unknown without it.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And then last one to note, Timeform kind of has her numbers a little bit faster than her buyers, which I think puts her pretty much on par with a lot of these. Kaylee, before we move on, do you have any notes on the number 1 Precious Avery, who Jackson touched on and is on your ticket as well?
No, I think that the horse should just improve second off a layoff as well, stretching back out. Clearly, she was able to handle the distance a few starts back. I'm looking back to like those Delaware Park races as well. So hopefully it runs pretty similarly. Just another speed horse I wanted to include on my ticket.
Does anyone know why the 10 is on the AU list? That's your even money favorite. How did she get stuck out there? Is it just random draw? It's kind of bizarre.
I'm not entirely sure. I got to read the conditions of the race. I know Post Time drew in, and Post Time's not a Maryland bred. Post Time drew in because there weren't enough Maryland breds in the race. So, but the 10 is a Maryland bred, so I have no idea. But it is interesting, and we'll see if the 10 can draw in. Live, Love, and Laughter, I think is the name. I went 2-9. Jackson's going 1-2. Kaylee's going 1-2-9 to kick off the first leg of the cross-country pick 5. Next, we're headed out to Belmont at the Big A. It's race number 10. It's the Grade 3 Glen Cove Stakes for 3-year-old fillies, going 6 furlongs on the outer turf. I'm going 2-3-4. Jackson 4-5-7. Kaylee 2-3-5-10. Certainly one of the more difficult races I thought in the sequence, as turf sprints are always a bit up in the air. We'll start to the far outside with you, Kaylee, and we'll work our way in with the number 10, Anna's Call.
Yeah, I really like this runner for Miguel Clement, clearly taking steps up with every start. Those last 2 starts, I really like the progression there. Switching back off Lasix, which isn't too much of a concern. Obviously, the horses run well without them before. And I really like this horse back when I saw her in the Take the A train, but she just kind of faded there. And hopefully here can sit a little bit of a better trip, has really good speed, draws to the far outside. Junior Alvarado's aboard as well, so I really like that. A bit of a rider change here, and maybe she perks up a little bit. But yeah, I really like this one at 5-1. I thought was also a pretty decent price as well.
Yeah, I think this one has the right sort of tactical ability that's going to be needed to win this race. I just didn't love the post draw, but 5-1 I think is a fair price to take. Jackson, we'll go with you. Resolute Racing owns this runner. It Ain't Two, trained by Riley Mott, ridden by Eric Cancel in this spot. What do you like about the number 7?
Yeah, our boy Noah will be really proud of this pick. He's a big fan. Yeah, listen, if she had a more aggressive rider, I would single her. If I had more faith that she'd be close to a pace. I like what I saw from her last 3 races, really. The race at Woodbine was good. She had a little bit of trouble and was able to close, got second, but she had a way tougher time of it than Love Severe did, which got a perfect trip in that race. So I thought it was a good effort there. Came back at Woodbine going the mile on the outer and dueled, opened up a big lead and just got caught late. I think that race was just a little too far for her. But again, I thought she ran well. Candy Quest came back and almost won $1 million race at Kentucky Downs. So it wasn't like it was some bad field she was facing that day. And then last time in the Music City, she broke well. She was going to be up towards the pace, and then she was on the rail and just kept getting not really shuffled, but just lost position. Next thing you knew, she was in last, turning for home, and just didn't have enough time, obviously, to get going again. I think that race was a little bit better in looks too. Obviously, Kentucky Downs forms can be a little hit or miss, so I want to give her another shot in here. I think she's got numbers that make sense, and if she can work out a trip in this race, I think she can be right there against this bunch.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with too much of what you said, but I do agree with one point, and that is I didn't love that the jockey is maybe not the most aggressive. Not that many are in the New York racing circuit, but if there were a sliding scale, I don't think Eric Cancel is going to be towards the top of that. So yeah, I didn't trust where he's going to be early, but she certainly has some races to get back to if she's good enough. We'll go to the number. Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure they just want to race together too. I don't know if I'm confusing a stakes with a maiden race right now, but I'm pretty sure it was a maiden race. Riley Mott and Resolute.
It was on Sunday.
It was on Sunday. It was also the number 7.
$25. And she was number 7. See?
Oh, wow.
Good old man already. We're good. Single.
There we go. Single. Oh boy. Singling Eric Cancel in the sequence is cause for concern and a mental health checkup. All right. Kaylee will go.
I'm going to even more confidently now.
There we go. Perfect. As long as I can build confidence and you can help reduce the takeout. Kaylee, we'll go to you and then to Jackson, number 5 Pop Idol, the other one of 2 George Weaver trainees in the race.
Yeah, I don't love this last effort from this horse, but I think honestly it was just one that I really wanted to throw my ticket. The one time Johnny V was up, the horse won. This is one that I've always really liked, and I know last time wasn't the best. Her form's a little bit all over the place, but she's one of those sneaky horses that I really just wanted to include here. Has really good speed, and I think 6 furlongs is the right distance for her as well. And I mean, 2 back, that effort is good enough to win this race, I believe. So she's one of those sneaky horses I just wanted to include.
Yeah, Jackson, your thoughts? I thought Johnny, obviously, he's not going to take anything away from this filly.
I agree. It's a tale of 2 races for her, right? Because the Saratoga race was awesome. She put all the speed away. The speed was way up the track, and she won the race pretty easily. And they went to Woodbine, and she was equally as bad. I mean, it wasn't like a suicidal pace or anything. She just was no good. So just a matter of which version of her shows up on Saturday. And I do think if someone's going to wire this field, it's probably her, right?
Most likely. I didn't include this one on my ticket. Just I thought maybe a little bit too inconsistent. I did include the number 4, Meek Governor, mainly because the jockey. What'd you say?
Meek Governor.
Mainly because Ricardo Santana is one of the most aggressive jockeys up on that circuit. So I think he's going to get that forward position early. If Pop Idol does decide to kind of cross and clear, I think that leaves Meek Governor sitting that nice kind of pocket trip, and hopefully things, shake out the right way for this filly here, trained by Carlos David, who has started off the Belmont Big A meet pretty strong. Couple winners from 10 starters, but I thought, she has the ability to sit off the pace, and she has, a nice turn of foot early. So I thought that's going to keep her in the mix and go in the 6 furlongs. That's always important. It always kind of plays a little bit towards speed. Jackson, you also included this filly in your picks. What do you like about Me Governor?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I'm hoping she sits the pocket in this race because there's not much speed drawn to her inside, but she's quick enough to establish position. You go back to the race 3 back in the limestone at Keeneland, and she was always wide that race. She was 3 or 4 wide the entire turn, and actually stayed on pretty nicely, I thought, against She's So Spicy, who would be a big favorite in this race. So I thought that was a good effort last time. Very decisive victory. So all of her sprint form is quite good, and if she's able to work on a trip, she's definitely a horse I think you want to be using in this race.
No doubt. As we get closer to Breeders' Cup season, I'd have to imagine if She's So Spicy is in the turf sprint, she's going to be a big factor. Mm-hmm. We'll go to the other George Weaver trainee that we've spoken about, Kaylee, the number 3 flat out time. You and I both like this filly, who I think dropping down and switching dirt to turf is going to be to her advantage after losing to Praying, who just came back last weekend to win again in the stakes race that I'm forgetting the name of at Keeneland.
Yeah, I did like the fact that horse came back to win, and also I love the Not This Times. I mean, my new strategy, I swear, is to never leave one of those Not This Times off my ticket ever again, because they always end up beating me. It doesn't matter how they look. Doesn't matter what surface they're on, what distance they're going, it literally doesn't matter. And this one I thought it was interesting, switching to the turf, clearly has the pedigree to handle it. And I mean, figures wise, this horse fits like a no-brainer, and 10-1 is a pretty good price. I like the fact that, fits in all those ways, and Not This Times, like I said, run well on anything. So this was just one of those price horses that I wanted to include. And obviously a lot of the ones that she's been running against have either ran back the same or improved. So just one that I thought was interesting.
Yeah, Not This Times are crazy good. On anything that they're doing, whether they're marathon, on the wet turf, dirt sprinting, whatever you got, Not This Time can handle. I saw a post today of, stallions and the amount of mares that were bred, and I don't know how Not This Time was 7th or 8th on the list. Whoever's breeding more mares to Charge It and Arabian Night, more power to you.
It's a lot of with the farms, they probably cap them or something.
Probably. I would assume that would be the only way.
Yeah, it is.
I assume that'd be the only way that Not This Time wasn't the leading, wasn't leading all that, was if he had a cap number. But I thought Flat Out Time, again, third start of the form cycle after losing to Praying last time out, where they didn't go crazy fast. I think this time you're probably going to get a little bit more pace. And again, I like the draw to the inside. It should help this filly out. The number 2, Love Surveyor. Kaylee, you and I also included this one on our tickets. This is my top pick. I thought, again, she drew really nicely. This is kind of the other Miguel Clement horse. And I think that if the pace does unfold in front of her, she's going to be the one that has the best kind of turn of foot late. And she's also shown the ability in the past to sit a little closer, albeit that 1-3 back was on a bit of a slower pace up front. So I do expect her to come from a little bit well off of it. But she's going to be flying late, and looking at Belmont at the Big A today, the turf course is playing a lot more fair now that you guys have had a little bit of rain, and it has a little bit more give in the ground. So what are your thoughts on the number 2, Love Surveyor, Kaylee?
Yeah, I completely agree with a lot of your points. I mean, if I had to single someone in this race, even though I believe it's a wide open race, it would be this horse. I mean, just obviously clearly the horse to beat in this race. And the more we're talking about the race, I can actually see a pretty decent pace working up. I mean, we're talking about different dynamics, like Me Governor gets Ricardo Santana aboard. The one has to break from the one hole for the first time in her life ever. Pop Idol has speed. And then also the number 10 has a little bit of speed too. So I'd imagine we're going to get a decent pace here. And if so, I mean, this is the horse that I'd want, clearly in really good form as well.
Yeah, no doubt. The only reason I couldn't single that horse with a great deal of confidence was this is still a turf race in New York, and we've seen pace not materialize more times than we've seen it show up. So For that reason, I went 3 deep using the 2, 3, 4. Jackson went 4, 5, and 7. Kaylee went 2, 3, 5, and 10. Just making sure I read the names right. All right, let's buck the trend as we go to leg C of the cross country pick 5. We're going back out to Laurel. It's the Maryland Million Classic Stakes, I'm still sharing the wrong tab, and now
really have a deja vu.
Oh yeah, now it's all bad. All right, 3 to 5 on the morning line. I don't remember what Barnes was. I don't remember what Phileas Fogg was. But this is one of the shorter ones that we've all picked. We're all unanimous. So Jackson, we'll start with you this time. Obviously, the ever consistent post time was guaranteed to get in the money last time behind. Look who, Phileas Fogg, the horse that we had all picked on top. So Jackson, we're bucking the trend here, right?
I mean, I think so. He's supposed to win. He's supposed to win. I did a triple take when I saw it. He's 10 for 10 at Laurel Park. I don't dare you face him. That's pretty impressive. That's something you're not going to see very often at all. Look, there's just a lot of speed in this race. It's supposed to set up for him. He's clearly the best horse in the race, and I think if he shows up, he's going to win at very, very short race.
Yes, he's probably going to be 1 to 9. Kaylee, anything to add on the ever consistent and unbeaten at Laurel Park post time?
Just betting wise, I mean, it's either you play against the horse at 3 to 5 and use a bunch, or you single him. And obviously we all singled him. He's undefeated. I know we're like, for whatever with our singles, but this horse is also 10 for 10 at Laurel. So, I think this one we have a pretty good shot at. And tactically, I mean, he's going to have pace to close into. And I mean, look at 2 back at Laurel Park, won by 17 lengths. The horse loves Laurel Park. I mean, this is a pretty confident single here. I can't think of anyone who could beat him, honestly.
I can't either. If anybody was going to beat post time, I think it's the 3 of us on the screen right now. So we gotta if he goes 10 for 11 now at Laurel, we're gonna have to really sit down and have a meeting amongst the 3 of us. Also, I misspoke earlier. Post time is a Maryland bred. I forget what the restrictions were to draw into this race, but I know he did because of the field wasn't oversubscribed or full. It might be graded stakes wins. Maybe they allow. Maybe it's like kind of I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass now, but hopefully we don't get post time beat. I really didn't even have a B in this race, or even a C. It was pretty much post time or bust. So we're gonna hope that post time keeps us moving through this sequence. Jackson, anything to add?
No.
All right. Let's all hope for the best. Come on, post time. Let's buck that trend. We'll move on to leg D as the leg C, the Maryland Million Classic. We are all singling post time. 4th leg of this cross country pick 5. It is the Grade 1 QE2 Cup from Keeneland, where I will be using the 2, Jackson will be using the 2, and then the 4 is in parentheses for some reason. I'm sure we'll find out why. And Kaylee is going 1-9. So Jackson, we'll start with you. You put a horse in parentheses. What's up?
I just wanted to show that I'm going to press up the 2 and use the 4 a little bit as well. Because I'm not going to use them equally. That's what the parentheses were for.
All right. Well, we'll stick with you. Florent Giroux, Rusty Arnold. You're gonna use this horse a little bit in your sequence. What do you like about her?
Well, I do think the 2 is Laurelin's definitely the most likely winner, and after that, I felt kind of a crapshoot. And watching back that Kentucky Downs race, I watched it back way too many times, and I'd like to admit, it just felt like those. I mean, at one point, there was like a quarter mile to go, and there were seriously 11 horses lined up across the track, like in a straight line almost. And the 2 horses that were in the clear and, didn't have trouble ran 1-2, whereas Daisy Flyer and the 7, who was the Cox horse, whose name is escaping me, they both had a ton of trouble at the inside. They just trying to weave and dodge their way in and out of horses, and they just never quite got through. But it looked like they had a ton of horses as well, and it just didn't quite work out for them. So I think Daisy Flyer, had she gotten the trip that the 2 horses on the outside had gotten, she would have been right there too. I thought the more I watched, the more I felt confident about that. And she's going to be a huge price in here. She's going to be 20 to 1 at least. I think she'd even be higher. She needs some help. There's not a lot of pace, but I think you can say the same about all the horses that are coming out of that race as well, because they're all horses that come from way out of it. So I think if you are going to take someone, give me the horse, it's going to be a giant price. And look, if she runs back to that race and at Saratoga 2 back, that's a number that is competitive against this bunch. So I definitely want to use a little bit of the 4 in here, but definitely admit the 2 is way the horse to beat.
Yeah, I don't hate the points that you made on Daisy Flyer. We'll go down to talk about. Actually, we'll talk about the rail runner.
Calumet is the owner. They pulled the major upset when we were at Keeneland.
They sure did.
So
they sure did with Jin. I don't know how Nitrogen didn't pass that horse, but the world may never know. Nobody passes Luis Saez in the stretch. We already know how. All right. Kaylee, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about Lush Lips, who I saw last run in the Grade 1 Del Mar Oaks. While maybe not the greatest ride I've ever seen over that turf course, she did have that same late turn of foot as they came towards the finish. You're taking her back here at Keeneland.
Yeah, I left Laurel in off my ticket just to start. I mean, if it wasn't for the layoff, the fact that the horse is coming in off a layoff and Graham Motion doesn't have the best stats in spots like this at Keeneland, I mean, she'd probably be my top pick. And then also taking into consideration, she's had pretty good trips in all of her starts. That was another thing. I mean, coming in off a layoff, Motion not having good stats, the fact that she's gotten dream trips, and then also a lot of the horses from the Saratoga Oaks Invitational have not run back well since. Evershed, that horse finished second, regressed 10 buyer speed figure points next time out, totally justified 14, Sigh No More 12. So, I mean, anyone who ran back regressed out of there. I viewed those as maybe, reasons to take a shot against. While I recognize, I mean, the horse is undefeated and clearly she's really good, I'm just going to take a shot here. Lush Lips is one of the horses I've always really liked, and I think that she's just starting to put the pieces together. I mean, she's improving in every start. Brendan Walsh is on fire at Keeneland. The number 9 Fiona is my top pick here, but if I thought anyone was going to upset that, I think Lush Lips. I mean, she has really good speed. I'd imagine that the 5, Opulent Restraint, is going to go out up front, and she can rate right off of that one and sit a nice trip. And, stretched out to 1 mile and an 1/8 last time, and also Grade 1 company, and ran a career best effort. So I think that she fits in well with this group, and 5 to 1's a pretty good price.
Yeah, 5 to 1 on Lush Lips, and I'd have to imagine that is going to stick, as there are some other big hitters in here. You got to love the rail. Gaffleon and Walsh do very little wrong when they team up together in the state of Kentucky, and much more so at Keeneland. Jackson, let's talk about the 2 Laurel. This filly's 5 for 5, undefeated coming in. I mean, she's done nothing wrong. She's sat great trips, but she also seems like the type that, this is her 4th different racetrack and is in her last 4 starts. She's going to be most likely, she ran over good, yielding, firm. She can handle whatever. She kind of just makes her own trip, more or less. Kendrick Carmouche is in to ride. I'm singling this horse. I don't have a backup. I'm pressing up with her. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she's the horse to beat. She's gotten pretty good trips, but I will say that most recent race at Saratoga, Kendrick rode her with a ton of confidence. He didn't even bother trying to save ground at any point, and that was only a 6-horse field, and she was relatively wide throughout the race and still won very easily. So she's the horse to beat. If she runs back to that race at Saratoga, she's going to be awfully tough, and she puts herself into the race, and there's really not a lot of speed in here. I'm looking around, and it's probably the Opulent Restraint who's going to go to the front, and she just handled her pretty easily twice now. And maybe Lush Lips goes. We didn't really talk about that, Kaylee. Do you think Lush Lips is going to the front from the rail? I know she's kind of.
I mean, that's really. I wonder what they're thinking, because they're probably seeing like the lack of speed in the race, and they have a pretty good shot, but it's not like it worked out too well. It only did once, going 1 mile and a 16th. I'd imagine they're probably going to want to sit off the 5, but
if this race was a mile, I would like the 1 a lot more. I'm a little suspect if we're going the 9 furlongs.
That's fair. I'm all about Laurel, though. She seems to be doing fantastic, as we like to say. Quickly on the 5, Opulent Restraint, Chad Brown. Joel Rosario is the listed rider. He took a pretty tough spill today, and I think the second race at Aqueduct, I believe it was David Aragona, got a text from him and said he's good. Like X-rays came back negative. Who?
David Grenning.
David Grenning, thank you. Wrong David. So hopefully he's back and good to go by Saturday. Would obviously love to see him back in the saddle. I thought Opulent Restraint is certainly going to take a little bit of money, but I just thought there were some others in here. And she's been beaten by the likes of Laurel and Fiona and Lush Lips. So I feel like she's maybe just not quite at the level of them, but maybe Chad Brown can have this one step up and be ready for the task. We'll go out to the 9 Fionn. Kaylee, you're including this one on your tickets. Brad Cox, Flavian Pratt. This one knocked off Nitrogen 2 back and came right back to win at the Dueling Grounds Oaks at Kentucky Downs.
Yeah, I think this filly has been running up against really, really tough company. Obviously, Nitrogen, she beat Nitrogen, and Nitrogen is a filly that can run on either surface. And I think that she would have improved even if she stayed on the turf. That's just my opinion because of the age that she was at the time that we started seeing her win all of those races. It was only, fate that she would have continued to improve on the turf if all went well, but she switched to the dirt and she improved. And I don't think that it's that she's better on the dirt. Is what I'm trying to say here. And this horse beat her, and Nitrogen has done nothing but improve since. And I really like the fact that it doesn't really matter that she drew to the far outside of the field. She doesn't have the best early speed, but she can sit a wide trip and still get the job done as she's done before. She's really always sat wide trips, and she's improving with every start. I think that she's running up against the best of the best. She's 2 for 2 with Pratt. I really liked her chances here. She's my top pick.
I like it. Fionn could certainly take another step forward. She seems to be also kind of on that improve angle. You got to love a horse that can transfer that Saratoga form into a win at Kentucky Downs. That takes a lot. Those are 2 very different turf courses. And so to win on both of those and win the way that she did, really fighting those out, even Churchill Downs 3-back, you could throw into that same mix of just she's a gutsy filly for sure. I wonder if the post draw maybe hurts her a little bit, but Flavian Pratt, obviously, world-class rider. He's going to be able to save enough ground and work out a good trip. So 4th leg of the cross-country pick 5, I'm singling the 2, as is Jackson. He's going to use the 4 a little bit as well in his tickets. Kaylee fading Laurel in here, trying to get some prices home in the Rail Runner, Lush Lips, and the number 9 Fionn. Jackson, it looked like you had a thought that you wanted to share before we move on to the final leg.
The 9 has made almost $2 million, which is just nuts.
Yeah.
It's Kentucky Downs money for you.
A Kentucky Downs win will do that for you, though, as it were.
All right.
Guys.
We gotta claim a couple horses and run them at Kentucky Downs.
Just run them there.
You guys in?
Yeah, let's do it. I heard Mountaineer has some good claiming races today, so we'll get them ready for next year. All right. 5th leg of the cross-country pick 5. It's the only non-stake race that we're going to cover today. We're going 6.5 starter allowance, 3-year-olds and upwards on the main track at Keeneland. Picks are going up on the screen, and I think picks tell the story. This is the hardest race of the sequence. I'm going 4, 8, 9, 12. Jackson's going 1, 5. Kaylee's going 2, 3, 8, 9. So we're not using the 6, the 7, or the 10. So do with that information what you will. Jackson, we're going to start with you from the rail. Did it dialed for Brian Lynch, and Mokata is in the saddle.
Yeah, as you alluded to, we saved the most difficult race for last, and this is impossible. When we get races like this, I like to get skinnier than usual just because I don't have a super strong opinion, so I'd rather just press up a couple and hope I'm right. I do like this one, though, a little bit. I think he's interesting, especially going to 6.5. I think with the big field going to 6.5, it's likely the race comes back to the field a little bit. I think he'll be coming from out of it with its inside post. And that race at Indy was pretty good. I know the pace was slow, and he got a really good trip in there, but the number came back strong. Came back an 8-2 buyer. Time form was about the same, and it looks pretty legitimate looking back at what everyone did since and prior to that. I don't see any reason to not believe that number. And at 8-1, give him a shot in here. I think you can just chuck the Kentucky Downs race. They took a flyer, it just didn't work out, and with this horse, you're just hoping that they fly and it can fall apart a little bit.
In that race where he broke his maiden, Coffee Talk came back to absolutely trounce the field at Keeneland today in the second race, now trained by David Jacobson. That horse didn't take a whole lot of money, but won like he was 3-5. We'll move on to the outside to the number 2, Remy's Moon. George Weaver claims this one, not a move he does a whole lot of. But Kaylee, you saw that partnered with Irad Ortiz and some decent dirt form to include this one on your ticket.
And that is exactly why I put the horse on my ticket. I mean, you're never going to get 6-1 on this horse, I don't think, but just one that I viewed as probably one of the major win contenders in the race. Obviously, George Weaver claimed him. Irad stays aboard also. Irad's been aboard for the last 2, so it's a really good sign that he stays up on this one, and obviously is riding really well at Keeneland. So this one is, it was a must-use for me.
Yeah, I don't entirely disagree with that. I think Irad and this horse absolutely ran away from that field last time out at just a tick over even money, and now you apparently get 6-1 on the morning line. I don't envy Nick Tamaro, who makes the morning lines at Keeneland. That has to be the hardest job. That and Kentucky Downs have to be the two hardest morning lines to make in the country. So maybe this horse stays at 6-1. It's a very deep and competitive field. It wouldn't surprise me if the favorite is somewhere in that 5-2, 3-1 range with how deep this field is in terms of competition. Including the number 3 Dive Bomber, who's at 9-2. Francisco Arrieta had a nice win today and a nice trip on the turf course. You picked this runner also in your pick 5.
Yes, this was another one that I wanted to include. I mean, figures-wise, look at the last 3. Clearly a super consistent horse, and any of those races could beat this field today. So one that I really wanted to include. I thought 9-2 was a decent price, and I also think that the horse is going to run well at 6.5 as well. Has a really good turn of foot, and there's a decent amount of pace in here. So another one I wanted to include.
Yeah, this one was a bit of a head scratcher for me. Almost threw him in my tickets that we're presenting today. And honestly, I might go a little bit deeper come race day, seeing all of our opinions right now, because I thought the 3 is interesting a little bit. I mean, they paid $400,000 when trained by Brad Cox, and this is only his 9th career race. Like, it's very possible that he's just maybe one of those late developing horses. Those last 3 races, they have to enthuse. And that last out at Churchill Downs, even though it was a restricted claimer for $50,000, he won like the favorite should in that race. So maybe he can come right back and replicate that form. I went with the number 4, another $400,000 purchase. This one, Air of Defiance, now trained by Mr. Sims. But the jockey booking is kind of why I opted to land on this one. That coupled with the cutback, I thought Saez is going to be aggressive out of there as he normally is. I don't know that this horse is necessarily the speed of the speed on paper, but winner of his last 3, he's in the right kind of form right now, and I don't think Saez is going to take anything away from this horse early. I think he likes to go to the front. I know, looking at those sprint races at Churchill Downs earlier in the summer in the late spring, he maybe didn't have that kind of sprint speed, but I think for whatever reason he's kind of found some speed given it was at lower levels. I think maybe he can come in here and be a threat towards the front end if Saez really, hustles him out of there. So I'm somewhat confident in that in a race that I'm obviously, we're all very spready in.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson with an ode to Michael Jackson and Thrilla. First off the claim, Dale Romans, rather. You threw this one on your ticket.
Yeah, I can't take full credit for this pick. A buddy of ours, told me on Tuesday he loves this horse. And the last time that same buddy told me about a horse on Tuesday, the horse won by about 8 lengths last weekend. So pretty sharp guy. Going to give this horse a shot in here. What's interesting most about this horse is Dale Romans does not claim any horses. This is the only horse Romans has claimed in the last 18 months or so. And I believe it's over the last 3 years, he's like 4 for 9, 4 for 10 first off the claim in the last 3 years. So he does very well from a limited sample size. And obviously the last 2 races leave a little to be desired, but you go back 3 and 4 back, he ran numbers that are plenty good enough to win this thing. They bring him back and protected. They gave him a little bit of time after those poor efforts, and he's a horse that can be fourthly placed, but doesn't need to lead. So I think there's a lot to like about this horse, and he's definitely one I want to use on my tickets at a big number.
Oof, yeah. Look at that last work. Look at the way the horse – yeah, I'd probably have to include this one. I mean, you sold me just with the tip about your friend, but look at the way the horse has been working.
Yeah, it's training well. And, they like to win here. These connections do. They like to win at Keeneland.
Yes, they do. That's an excellent point, and I'm certainly not going to talk you off a 20-1 shot in a horse in a race that is extremely wide open. I mean, 3 back over this racetrack, finished second to Gunmetal, who was in pretty good form at the time. Third place in that race was Retribution, who came right back on. He won a stake at Preakness weekend up in Pimlico, and then I think came right back after that and won at Parks, if I'm not mistaken. So Retribution obviously flatters the form, but yeah, you mentioned it. 3-4 back. For Dale Romans, who doesn't, claim a whole lot, this horse could certainly be a big factor. Uncle William is on none of our tickets, but it's Jacobson and Tyler Gaffleone. So, there's always a chance that something crazy happens. Yeah. We didn't use the 7 either. This one's Jose Camejo, Axel Concepcion, some fairgrounds
we didn't use the 6 or the 7? What's up with that?
We didn't use the 6. Oh, hey, look at that. We didn't use the 6 or the 7 in this race. The 7, a little bit tougher to have, but Jackson just made a point for a 20-1 shot. So, hey, why not? The number 8 Pineland, trained by Lindsay Schultz, ridden hopefully by Joel Rosario. Kaylee, I'll go to you, as you and I both use this runner owned by Shortleaf Stables in our ticket.
Yeah, that's exactly why I use the horse owned by Shortleaf Stable. That's the angle I always use in these types of spots. Shortleaf wins a lot of races at Keeneland, and Lindsay Schultz also won one today, owned by Shortleaf. So that was another thing I noted later in the day. But I did like the fact that this horse is switching back to the dirt as well and fits from a figures perspective. And I think maybe can even perk back up switching back to the dirt. So I like the fact that Joel Rosario is aboard. Obviously we don't really know what's going to happen, but I'd imagine that this one, the connections regardless, there's one that I just did not want to leave off my ticket. They win a lot at Keeneland.
I'm with you. The ownership group, of course, wants to win, but I thought this one is just, if anything, this runner is very consistent. Maybe it doesn't find the winner's circle as much as I would like, but has been consistent, whether dirt, turf, routing, or sprinting. So I want to give this one another chance in a race where I think he's going to sit kind of that right sort of trip where he's going to be stalking the pace. And I just hope that he's kind of the one that's in front at the finish. Joel Rosario going to be a new jockey aboard him on Saturday. Hopefully that is the case. And he is one of the toughest guys to pass down the lane and certainly one of the strongest finishers we have in the sport. So I think that would help him and help this horse get to the winner's circle if he sits the right kind of trip.
Absolutely.
We'll go to the number 9, Count the Brave. You and I both use this one. This is the, I guess, the first David Jacobson runner. The 6 would technically be the other. Switched into the barn 2 back and finished second by a neck. Then last out in the $80,000 Nom 2 Lifetime. Went wire to wire in a 7-horse field. I had to use this horse. This is one of those that has improved since getting into the Jacobson barn, and that's always dangerous. What were your thoughts, Kaylee?
Yeah, I completely agree. Obviously, David Jacobson, I don't really want to be knocked out by this horse whatsoever. Clearly he's been able to wake the horse up, and Jose Ortiz stays aboard as well. And that 86 last time out is, I'm pretty sure, the best figure anyone in this race has ever run. And this one ran it last time out. So I'd imagine he's in pretty good form for Jacobson, and also has really good speed and, won at this distance last time out as well. So a lot to like about this one.
I agree. Yeah, Count the Brave looks to be in good form. Drew nicely to the outside. We did not use the number 10, Good Lord, anywhere. First off the claim for J.K. Sweezy, who's 11% with this move. The number 11, Raven's Dream, trained by Steve Asmussen, ridden by his son, Keith Asmussen. We did not use this one. This one is probably projected to sit the right kind of trip. I just thought this one's probably going to be a little too wide, and I didn't really like that last out race outside of Remy's Moon, who I think is going to offer better value in terms of a little more upside maybe. So last one we'll talk about, number 12, Sinister Smile, Gennaro Garcia, Edgar Morales team up on this one. I threw this one on the ticket just because I think the class drop is somewhat significant here. Last out lost to Guns Loaded. 2 back to Big Truz, 3 back to Big Boat, who I think Jackson is a big fan of, has just faced so much better than these. I thought maybe he's going to get woken up a little bit on the class drop. I don't necessarily know where I would expect to see him early. I know he does have some speed that he's shown in the past, so maybe Edgar can be a little bit aggressive out of there. I know he's had a bit of a cold start to the Keeneland meet, but he can certainly heat up. This horse has really done nothing wrong. He just kind of has to get his stuff together and finish off some of these races. So hopefully he can get forward. That's kind of where his success came when breaking the maiden at Churchill Downs. So I'm hoping he can kind of get back to that effort, because that 85, as we just talked about, I think that's about second best in this field behind the Jacobson runner. So there's Sinister Smile on my tickets. You guys made some excellent points for a lot of your horses, though. And Alex Suarez has joined us to say go Birds. They do play in about an hour or less, actually, about 30 minutes. That is the 5th leg of the cross country pick 5. Real quick, I am going 4, 8, 9, and 12. Jackson is going 1, 5. Kaylee's going 2, 3, 8, 9. I'll throw the full tickets up on the screen and I'll just talk through it real quick. I am going 2, 9 in the first leg, 5, followed by 2, 3, 4 in leg number 2. That is the graded stakes at Aqueduct. Then I'm going to single Post Time. I'm going to come right back and single Laurel in the QE2 Cup. And I'll go on this ticket 4 deep with the 4, 8, 9, and 12 in the last leg. But honestly, after listening to you guys, I'm including the 1, 2, 3, and 5 in that ticket as well. Maybe I trim down the second leg a little bit, press it up a bit. But you guys made some good points, and that last race is completely wide open.
At that point, bro, just go all.
Yeah.
10
yeah,
12.
probably.
You're gonna use 10,
I got to use
man.
6, 7. Might as well throw the 10 in there. Throw the 11. Yeah. Maybe if I can, get one more single in there. If the 10 draws in that first leg, I'll just maybe toss the 2, 9. I don't know. Very preemptive ticket, preliminary ticket, and obviously pending scratches and whatnot on Saturday. Jackson, quickly walk us through your pick 5 ticket that costs somewhere in the neighborhood of $12 ish, is what you texted me.
I did text you ish. That first race, try to beat that more line favorite that I just think is not very good. And going to go with the 2 inside horses. One is a speed type, one is going to be coming from out of it. So I like that angle usually in these horizontals, excuse me. In the turf sprint at Aqueduct, another tough race, but in one, I just wasn't in love with the favorite in there, so I'm going to try to beat Love Severe in there. I do like 8 ain't 2. That's a weird name to say. It ain't 2 would be my top choice in there. Also going to use the 2 other speeds as Pop Idol and Me Governor towards the inside. So I like those 2 horses. If Post Time loses, we may have to just stop doing these shows because we're just the ultimate mush. So hopefully he wins, and we move on to the last couple legs at Keeneland. In the QE2, I do like Laurel, and I think she's one I'm going to press up in there because she's going to be a shorter price, but I am going to use Daisy Flyer. I think if you want someone coming out of that Kentucky Downs race, I don't see why you shouldn't use her because I thought she ran arguably as well. Had she had a better trip, she would have been up there with the horses that are going to take a lot more money. So at 20 to 1, I want to use her. And then the last race, I like the 2 horses I have again. One's going to be on the lead and one's going to be coming from out of it. They're both going to be prices. So not a very expensive ticket, but this is one that can pay quite a bit if we are able to connect the dots.
No doubt. There you go. That's a ticket for Jackson. And then Kaylee, take us home here with your pick 5 ticket.
Yeah, we all basically centered around Post Time, singling him. I mean, if he loses, I really don't even know what our punishment should be because that would be absolutely insane. But definitely centered it around him and spread in the races that were a little spready, like the last leg, and the first one was tough, as well as the stakes at Aqueduct is pretty wide open. And then I have a pretty strong opinion in the QE2. I really love Fiona, and I also love Lush Lips a lot. So definitely hoping that one of those 2 can get the job done, and that Laurel doesn't knock me out there because she is a really good filly. But all in all, excited to play the sequence. I thought it was a good one.
Are you going to be there again? Are you going back this weekend? Or are you going to be in New York?
Oh, no. I'll be at Aqueduct.
No paddock reports.
Paddock reports,
but
watching the Glen Cove. Yeah, so we'll get paddock report for that. All right, guys. That's the cross-country ticket for this Saturday, October 11th. Play it on pretty much any ADW that you have. But since Kaylee's here, play it on Naira Bets because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. So there you go. Thanks everybody for watching. We do appreciate it. We'll be back next week. To everybody that tuned in on X, go ahead and follow us at the Gallop Out on YouTube, and we'll see you next week when we cover It's a Mystery. You'll have to tune in and pay attention. But have a good night. Good luck.